right, guys, today is Tuesday, May 16th, and we're going to take a look at the Euro USD and where we left off from last week of the last video that I did, the analysis on the Euro USD and what we're looking for going forward. So I had two long positions last week, well, actually three, two long positions down here. I think about 1.0805. Yeah, and then another one I had up here. I believe it was at 1.0972 or 75, one of these areas here. So yeah, one over here from 1.0805. I had two long positions here, and then I had another one up here. Unfortunately, the market didn't head to the upside above this median level that I was looking at. And once we got this drop, I believe this was on Thursday last week. Once we got this big drop, I started exiting all long positions, and I wasn't too surprised at this down move because there were slight warning signs of the downside, especially once we couldn't hit and get over this median level here. I have a dotted line here. You guys can probably see it because I have a gray rectangle around it. But one of the signs that I was paying attention to and get ready to exit these long positions was, number one, there was some divergence here on the MACD and the RSI. I could draw that out for you real quick. You can see, well, on the MACD, it's pretty interesting. You can even draw it from way back here, or you can start here and saying, hey, the market was, the MACD was trickling to the downside while price was struggling to make higher highs or significant higher highs. And over here on the MACD, you can see high up here, which matches up with the high that we had on the Euro USD. And then pretty much once it started stalling out, we started getting, some signs that this market could get weaker and tip over, which it did. Uh, so one of the things that I was paying attention to also is the trend line. Now, if you guys know about my trend line strategy and the approach that I use to look for levels of and accurate levels of resistance and support, or support and resistance, I take my support levels and resistance levels in terms of wicks, and I combine them. And I could give you an idea of that right now. I take my support and resistance trend line, and I use the magnet tool to look for support levels to match up with a resistance level in this case. So this was my support level, and this was my resistance point. Now, if I use the replay tool and I go back, I was looking at this level as a confluence. You had this trend line over here, and then we also have the median levels up here, right? So if I start drawing it forward, you can see, okay, we got close to it, but we didn't really hit this median level yet. And then we crept up. And then once we got to this level and I saw this big wick pullback, that kind of threw me off a little bit, wondering, all right, I still feel that we can make a significant higher high off of this move, right? We have this one move all the way up here, pull back, and then a continuation to the upside. So once we started struggling, I said, all right, this doesn't look that good. We're hitting that trend line, and we're also hitting this median level. So we'll have to see what happens here. And once I started seeing this market started rolling over right around here, I was like, okay, you know what? It's time to get out all long positions. And I still did. This position did pretty good. Still made over 100 pips, but at one point it was up almost 250 pips or about. So I was looking more for about 400 or 500 pips to the upside. But again, that's neither here nor there because that just didn't happen, right? So going forward, once we got this move back here, I actually ended up going short at 1.0. I think it was 1.0895 before we got this continuation. And then that was that. Pretty much waiting to see if we get to this next long-term median level that I have drawn out here in this dotted level. And then maybe that'll make 100 pips. If we get below that and holding on to the previous pivotal zone, which would be about 300 pips. Right. So right now, this is where where we are on a live chart, and obviously nothing's going on. Market's pretty much going sideways again. Sometimes it gets really frustrating when you're looking for a continuation of a move, and then the market decides to go sideways, so it doesn't really do anything, right? One thing I spotted, and some of you may understand what I'm talking about in terms of patterns, because I've gone over certain patterns that I look for in the market, and it's mostly on my YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, you're free to do so. But I talk about broadening patterns and how they form. You can kind of spot when they're forming towards the peak of the move or the beginning of the pattern that the market's about to make a move. So I didn't see it initially because I was looking for the market to get above this median level here. But once it started rolling over, I said, okay, let me see if there's any patterns in this whole move. And then I did spot it, and I have that drawn, but I have it hidden. So let me put that back on now. I have it here, okay? So it's kind of like I talk about two trend lines diverging away from each other, which would call it either a megaphone pattern or a widening wedge pattern. There's many names for it. I call it the broadening pattern because that's where I got the pattern from in a book called The Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. And that's where I learned it from. It's a fantastic pattern to learn. And it really gives you an idea and perspectives of where the market may be heading to, right? In this case, this is a bearish pattern. Once the trend line starts spreading out and the market starts spilling over, it's kind of like I guess you could say a tipping cup. I'm not gonna call it that, but that's kind of how you can look at it if that makes it any sense. So the market usually spills over off of this bottom trend line and it continues lower. Now, what's interesting about this is that I talked about this on other videos that I'm always looking for at least 50% of the move. And how do I calculate that? Is using a Fibonacci tool. I take the very low beginning of the pattern all the way to the top, and then I have levels that I can look at, right? And in this case, you can see this is the start of it. This is the end of it. This is the one level over here, and then we have 50% down here. Now, do I feel like we're going to get to the 50%? No, because I need to see these levels first get taken out. This median level, and then this pivotal level that we have all the way back here, which, by the way, served as a really good support zone, as you can see all the way back here and back here. So I'm not going to put too much thought into these levels yet, but if it does play out the way it usually does, 50% of this move, of this pattern, would be the target. So I'm not going to focus on that right now. I was just throwing that out there, but that's an interesting point if this pattern was gonna follow through all the way. So, but right now, before we get into any further analysis of what we're looking at down the line, well, first want to see if this level first gets hit, which would be 1.07. We'll just make it even 1.075. 1.7. Let's say 1.0077. Let's say this level right over here. And the short positions that I currently have, I'm looking for this level first to get touched to see what happens here. And then if the market starts creeping lower, I'd maybe look to hold it on for this level down here, which is around just a little below 1.06, right? So that's going to be the analysis for this week. And again, these levels that I'm showing you here, they're 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 there to take kind of like the stress of having to manually draw these zones. I know there's a lot of people that talk about structure and drawing this support over here and this resistance over here. These are preset levels that help me kind of guide me into the market or what to look for. If the market doesn't end up going lower here, it's not a problem. That's why we have stop losses and we do analysis, right? On a daily basis, weekly basis, or whatever the case is. But it gives us a guide to really look of where this market might have significant turns. And you can just see it without me really going into big detail. Let me just remove these trend lines over here, so we just get like a cleaner look. But for the start of the year, we have this strong support level over here, this pivotal zone, and then we got this long-term median level where the market bounced very nice from. Unfortunately, we didn't get it to the upside here, but that's fine. We didn't reach this level. We pulled back, found resistance, and actually took a short position over here. And then this would be our next support levels. And you see how the market bounced from here. Same thing, found support here. And then this one was pretty much on a dime. You can see how it hit that perfectly, and then now pushing to the downside. So these levels really give you an insight on what to look for, not stressing about, manually drawing things out, or, drawing structure, which is the buzzword for the support and resistance levels, right? But yeah, that's going to be it for now. I'm looking for this level to get hit. Obviously, the market's going sideways, not making much action. Have my stop losses above this candle here. So in the case we get some kind of wild, volatile move, which I don't think it's going to happen, but you just never know, right? You always want to protect your capital and have your stop losses in place just in case, the shit hits the fan and you have to adjust, and if you don't have any stops, things could get ugly really fast. So that's going to be it for now. But if you want to learn from me how to draw these levels, or you need help with any type of trading or analysis, have about 15 years, almost 15 years of experience in the market, you can head over to Internal Trader and either fill this out if you want for a newsletter, or you can go directly to Internal Trader /VIP coaching, where you can book a free 30-minute call with me, and I can help you out in whatever problems that you're having when it comes to the market. Go over weekly analysis and in-depth on strategy and exactly what I'm showing you into the Euro USD analysis, which can help greatly help your trading to a much to perform better, if that makes sense, right? So that's going to be it for me on this week in this analysis. We'll see what happens going forward to see if the euro can continue to the downside, and if we reach this point here, then that'll be fantastic. I could take profit for 100 pips, or if we continue to the downside, this will be the next level that I'm looking for over 300 pips. So with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this this analysis on the Euro USD, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.